Welcome back to the Blue Castle podcast. I'm your host, Molly.
And I'm your other host, Sarah.
We have a fun one in store for you today. At least it's fun for us because we like it. Today, our topic is general advice for Disney trips. So this could be to Disney World or Disneyland, maybe other Disney parks too. We're not experts in those, although we would like to be. Our advice is separated into two major categories. There's planning, and that's mostly stuff that you do before you go to the park, so before you start your trip. And then there's the other category, which is at the park or at the destination tips. So those are kind of the two main buckets. We're going to ping pong back and forth with our advice, and hopefully this is helpful for at least people who haven't been to Disney before or haven't been in a while. If you've been multiple times or if you're a Disney fanatic like us, this might not be extremely helpful for you, but you might pick up a tip or trick along the way. And let us know on TikTok or wherever if you have advice that we missed, because that could be a fun thing to do in the future.
Nice.
Sarah?
I like
you want to start us off with advice for planning?
Yes, I would love to. And this one out the gate may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it has worked really well for me. And it's specifically about packing. And I really like to pack. Number one, I like to pack in packing cubes. I always liked packing in packing cubes ever since I knew they were a thing. I think it's really convenient. Makes it really easy to unpack into your hotel room.
Do you want to explain what packing cubes even are? I know what they are because you gave them to me, but I wouldn't have known otherwise.
I mean, they're essentially just a little thin cube of a bag that makes it easy to pack your clothes in and kind of categorize your clothes. So instead of just having all of your clothes loose in your suitcase or duffel or whatever, it just kind of groups them up. It really makes them, I mean, some people don't like them because they think they can save more space otherwise, but to me, it's more about the organization and like grouping things together. And just, keeping it sorted. But I love those. And then
I was just thinking, they kind of advertise packing cubes as being a space saver. They're not really a good space saver if you're a person who packs thoroughly in the first place. Like if you roll your clothes or like, if you fit every nook and cranny in your bag really well yourself, these cubes aren't probably going to save you much space. And also when you zip them up, they kind of turn into a weird shape sometimes if they're overpacked. But they do segment out. Like you can... It's easier to dig through your bag to find what you're looking for if you have it organized well with your cubes.
Yeah, I definitely don't do it for space saving. It's really just organization, and I do roll my clothes. But the meat of this piece of advice that I was really going for was pack by outfit. Plan your outfits for what you're doing that day. So you don't have to have like a perfect Epcot themed outfit for Epcot or whatever, but I like to at least think through, like, if we're going to take pictures that day, what are the colors that I'll probably be taking pictures with, or what's the vibe? Or, I have 4 generic outfits that I've picked. I might as well pick the ones that make the most sense for those different parks on those days. And you can always change it when you get there, but I just like having full outfits. So I'm talking like socks, underwear, tops and bottoms and the whole shebang. Have it all planned out. Then you don't have to think about it on the trip. You've already prepped it. You know exactly that you're going to have every outfit covered no matter what. You don't have to like worry about making sure that your outfits are going to match because you didn't do like a weird mix match situation. Anyway, that's my piece of advice. I really like doing that. I will do that now.
That's smart.
Forever.
Sometimes I have a few outfits in mind, especially if like I have a bold colored pair of shorts or something. Like obviously I'm going to wear like a black shirt or a white shirt if I'm wearing hot pink shorts. I'll have that in my mind, but every now and then I forget about the outfit that needs to go together. And then on the last day I'm like, well, great. I have an orange shirt and green shorts. I look like I'm going hunting. So
exactly.
It's good to at least know that your outfits are going to match every day, even if you didn't think about the vibe of the park. That's kind of a bonus challenge if you want to plan your outfit per park.
Yeah. And it's not that hard. I mean, I don't have like that crazy of outfits, but I do have like kind of an army green colored like shorts and a white shirt outfit. And that looks really good for Animal Kingdom, where everything's kind of safari colors and stuff. And then if you get a picture with Safari Mickey or Safari Minnie or Safari whoever, then you kind of match the vibe and you're not wearing like hot pink, you know, but you can wear hot pink to Magic Kingdom and be a princess.
To clash with Mickey or Minnie's outfits is embarrassing. You should never.
So awkward. It's actually really, really embarrassing for you.
It's actually really not a big deal at all.
No, it really isn't. But I do think the other thing is, like, if you're going to take a picture for like a Christmas card picture, something like that, it's not the end of the world if you aren't matching, but like, it'd be nice if you're all kind of in like like bright colors for Magic Kingdom or all pastels or something like that. Just if you want to be thinking those things through beforehand, you know, you have to figure that out before you get to Orlando or California. Anyway,
that's a good piece of advice. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay.
What's yours?
Okay, my first piece of advice for planning specifically is a controversial one. So I know that not everyone in the world is going to agree with this, and that's fine. I'm just going to make my case, and if you disagree, then please don't be too mean to me. I'm sensitive. If you're going to the park or to Disney World for multiple days, especially if you have a large group or a group of any significant size, like I'm talking 3 or more, don't get park hopper passes if you're going to be at the park for multiple days. Enjoy the park you are currently in without having to hop from one park to another. Big groups are hard enough to move from one place to the other. Group trips can get stressful, especially ones as high energy and expensive as Disney. Tensions can run high. Why add another hiccup into it? So I say save some money, stay in one park, soak in the vibe of that park, become one with that park, and chill there. Like, literally save your money. For a family of 4 going to Disney World in July and wanting to go to the parks for 4 days, you can save $360 by doing single park per day passes versus park hopper.
That's wild.
It's a lot. Like, it's a significant amount. You could go to 2 very nice dinners with that money. And personally, I think it's a better experience anyway to not have to lug your group around to multiple parks. Obviously, if you're only going for 1 day and it's just like you and a friend and you want to do all 4 parks in 1 day as a challenge or whatever, do what you want. Like, that sounds fun. That sounds incredible. I'm talking about like a family trip.
Yeah, just your typical trip. I had the same piece of advice on mine. Save your money. I like the idea, like you said, of just staying in one theme and not having to each park has enough like different themes in and of itself. It's not like you're going to get bored of, you know, Animal Kingdom because you've got so much different stuff going on there. Well, Animal Kingdom's probably the worst example, but even Animal Kingdom, you can really soak it in for a whole day.
I think if you're doing park hopper specifically with Animal Kingdom, you're going to go in, you're going to do Flight of Passage, you're going to do the Expedition Everest and maybe like a couple other rides, and then you're going to leave. And there's a good chance you're not going to do the safaris, you're not going to see the animals, you're not going to like sit in the jungle vibes and do any like watching of the animals, learning of the things you're supposed to learn. I just don't think it immerses you. You're going to get one flavor of like the high intensity parts of the park, but you're not going to like soak it in.
Yeah, I agree. I like that one a lot because obviously we both had it on our list and we've talked about it before. And I mean, there are definitely pros of having park hopper. It allows for flexibility. You can change your plan if something isn't working out the way you wanted or something like that. But you're paying for the luxury of having that flexibility, and you can still be flexible and you can still have an incredible time if you just dedicate your time to one park. And I love it. All right.
Thank you.
Want to hear my next
Your
one?
turn. Yeah, I want to hear it.
Okay. My next one is pretty tactical as far as kind of gaming the system from a Disney standpoint, and it's specific to your dining reservations. So if you don't know, Disney has a lot of restaurants where you really will have a difficult time getting seated at all, getting a table if you don't have a dining reservation. there are many restaurants that will very likely have reservations the day of. It'll be easy to get in, or you can just walk up and you'll get seated reasonably like a normal restaurant. But there are a few that are really popular, and it's even hard to get a dining reservation if you book out as early as you're allowed to, which I think is 60 days last I checked, or last time we did that.
I'm pretty sure it's 60 days, and I'm also pretty sure this advice is very specific to Disney World. I think Disneyland does dining reservations differently. Like, they don't open their reservations at the same time every day.
Mm-hmm.
Restaurants kind of do what they want.
Yeah, I think take this advice kind of generically, and then do your research on the specifics of it. But the point that I wanted to make with this particular piece of advice is, if you are trying to get a reservation at a restaurant that's difficult to get, there are certain ones that are known for being really tough. Some of them are Topolino's Terrace, Ohana at the Polynesian. Be Our Guest can be difficult at Magic Kingdom. Base 220 was difficult there. Woody's Roundup Rodeo Barbecue might be hard because it's new. Usually the new restaurants can be difficult. So just kind of maybe Google, kind of look in the forums. People are usually chatting about it, and Reddit and things like that, which restaurants are hard to get reservations for. And for those, book them later in your trip. So you book them obviously like as early in advance as they'll let you, but book like the actual reservation itself for a date later in your trip so that you have less competition for those days. So if you're trying to book early in your trip, so like their first couple days there, that could be the end of somebody else's trip, and they've already, or many other people's trip, and it could already be booked up. And so by the time
your reservations open up to be able to be booked 60 days from the first day of your trip.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So like on 60 days from the first day of your trip, it's like, it might be 67 days from the last day of your trip, but you're able to book on that day. So you have like a 7-day head start to other people trying to do that, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So basically the longer your trip, the more people, like the more and more difficult
of an advantage you're going to have over.
For later days. The later the day in your trip, the less competition you'll have. So that's something that I did not do. Logistically, we were aiming for Topolino's Terrace for our first day of our trip, and there was nothing available whenever I tried for it first thing when it opened up right at 7 a.m. Central Time. So just kind of do your research, know what if there are any you don't have to have these difficult to get dining reservations to have a great trip. But
no, and there's some of these like Space 220 and Woody's Rodeo Roundup. I don't think that they get great reviews on their food. They're just new. So look into the vibe. If it's something you really want to go for it. I want to go to both of those places, but just know that just because there's a place that's hard to get a reservation, that doesn't mean that it's better than a place that's easier to get a reservation. So don't beat yourself up if you don't get the reservation that you thought you wanted. There's going to be something else good.
Yep, exactly. But that's my piece of advice, and I have never successfully taken it or like done that. But the other thing is with dining reservations, I don't think I mentioned this in the other section, but you can get same day reservations, and sometimes you can get same day really difficult to get reservations because people have plans change all the time. So it's never like a lost cause. So you just have to kind of keep checking and looking if you don't get what you want. But
we had looked for days and days before our Disneyland trip to try to get reservations to Lamplight Lounge. We had to change the dates of our trip within 60 days of the trip. So like it ended up being, we lost our reservation we couldn't get another one. And then first thing in the morning, I was able to get a late brunch time at Lamplight Lounge, which was huge. That was awesome. And that was, same thing at Disney World. Someone just had a reservation and canceled it, and I was able to swoop in and pick it up. So don't give up hope.
Yep, exactly. I forgot all about that. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Very good. Highly recommend it.
All right, Molly, what's your next piece of planning advice for Disney?
Okay, my next piece of planning advice for Disney could apply to some other things too. It doesn't even just have to be a Disney trip. And I'm going to sound like I'm sponsored. We're not sponsored by Sam's Club or Costco, But Sam's Club and Costco do both have good discounts on things that are going to make the trip more financially achievable for you. So, for example, as of today is early May 2024. This week, Sam's Club is having a deal where you can get a $500 Southwest gift card for $430. That's $70 off right there. There's a limit of 2, so theoretically you could, fly your whole family to Disney and save $140 just on the gift card. And if you pair that up with like a Southwest sale, then you're saving great money. Another tip in that same vein, if you book a flight with Southwest or Delta, keep checking the exact same flights after you book it. And if you see that the price goes down from what you paid for that flight, you can rebook that exact same flight, and Delta and Southwest will both give you that money back. Like say you paid $500 round trip and then your round trip goes down to $250, they'll give you $50 of flight credit back that you can use on a future trip. So things like that can make a trip that, maybe when you first looked at flights, you thought you were going to have to pay $2,000 for your family of 4. That could easily bring it down to, 50% off, especially if you pair it with a good sale time. Southwest and Delta, Delta doesn't do sales as much, but just be smart about it. Keep checking your flights. It's worth it. I've saved so much money over the course of time. I've saved hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars at this point by rebooking my same flight and getting flight credit back.
I was going to say, I think you can also do that for your Disney package or like your resort stay where they'll give you money back. I've never done it because it's pretty rare to be able to do that. But sometimes if you hear like they're running a special for these months or whatever and you booked like way early, it's really only when you book like super early and you buy a normal price and then it gets closer to that time and Disney's running some kind of a special for like a short period of time that happens to be like, it's very rare that you would get that opportunity. But
I've heard of that. I think you have to talk to a cast member either on the phone or online to have them rebook it for you without, like, if you don't want to lose your reservations or whatever, right. Especially like if you want it to stay on the same confirmation code or whatever, I think you have to talk to a cast member. But for the Southwest thing and the Delta thing, you can just literally do it on their website. Delta makes you jump through a few more hoops. You have to like go from the flight that you're on to a different flight and then book the flight you were on originally. It's a little wonky, but just look into it. Look up some YouTube videos. I'm not the first person to give this piece of advice. And you can do this for any trip, but Disney is expensive. So save the money where you can, especially when you're getting the exact flight you want anyway. You're not compromising anything for this.
Yeah. I like it. Okay, I don't have any more planning. Most of my stuff is for while you're there. Do you have any other planning pieces of advice?
I have one more for planning, and this one actually, I talked to our parents before this and asked them if they had any advice for people who are going to Disney for one of the first times, and they have a good perspective. They're a little older than us. They haven't been to Disney as much as us. They also don't consume videos or whatever. So they have a very, it's just a different perspective. They're usually along for the ride. And Dad's advice was make sure someone in the group knows how to get around, knows how to get to the park you're going, knows when the park opens. He said, in his opinion, it's so nice to have someone who is in the group that wants to do it. In our family's case, it's mostly Sarah, and I'm like her backup, kind of.
Yeah.
Sarah's on top of things, and I can also answer questions about logistics, 9 times out of 10. But she's probably the one that planned it all. But for him, he said, if he was going and no one knew what they were doing, it would be a little bit more chaotic, a little harder. So he basically said, if no one knows in the group what's going on or how to get around, maybe you just kind of like unofficially nominate someone as the group planner, someone who would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not to say that, if no one in the group enjoys it, then I don't know. I've never been in a group like that. I feel like there's always the person that rises up to the occasion and wants to be the one navigating around. And
yeah, I think it's just like, especially in families, like with the whole birth order concept, like the oldest daughter is always going to be like, there's always going to be someone with the energy of like, I'm going to get on top of this and like learn how to, like, even for non-Disney trips, I feel like I try to have, my mind is just constantly thinking like, what are the questions we're going to have once we get there? and how can I answer those questions for myself from the comfort of my home, like weeks before I'm there, months before I'm there. And then I sleep easy knowing that I have all these answers in my back pocket. And with Disney, it's like entertainment.
Yeah. So for us, we like that kind of stuff. We like looking up how transportation works, or how to get reservations at that one place, or what's the best rope dropping strategy. Dad wasn't even talking about that. He was just saying, it's nice that someone in our group knows how to get from our hotel to that park, and which Skyliner station to get off at, and whatever. And I know it seems silly to us because it's so obvious, because we know all these things and we are kind of the leaders of our family's trips. Yeah. But for him, he meant it as a compliment. He was like, it's awesome having someone who knows what they're doing. And if you don't have that, try to get someone to learn what they're doing before you get there. Because otherwise you're all going to be just like, okay, we're at Disney World. How do we get to Magic Kingdom? Where's that ride we want to go on? How do I download the app?
I do think even if you were in that scenario, it's not a lost cause, because there are cast members everywhere and they almost always know the answer to your question, even if that's not their expertise. Like, I asked like the 70-year-old lady who was checking out my order at Art of Animation. I was buying like, I don't know, like an ornament or something just like random or whatever. And I asked her a question about the bus system and she knew it. Like, they all are also, for the most part, they're guests of Disney in addition to cast members. Like, they go and enjoy it themselves too. And they know how it works. Like, they're locals. So they're just hanging out at Disney World all the time. So even if you have no idea what's going on, like, think of all your questions. And, you know, when you check in, you can ask them and kind of get your bearings, but also there are cast members everywhere and you can ask them anytime. We still ask them stuff. Like, it's inevitable. Like, you can't know everything. And stuff changes all the time. So even if you did know everything, it may change day to day. So,
yeah, especially like if you're wanting to get in line somewhere. I was just thinking about this. If you're wanting to get in line for a ride, and the wait time seems different than what you would expect, if it seems really long and you think it should be short, or vice versa, you can ask the cast member, like, do you think it's really a 45-minute wait? And they'll say, oh, it was 45 minutes 5 minutes ago, but a crowd just came in. I doubt it. You know, ask questions even when you think the answer might be silly. As long as you're kind and patient and not rude to them, they're not going to make you feel stupid, even for asking stupid questions like we have.
Yeah. Oh, they're used to it. I'm sure they get the stupidest of questions and they're trained to be magical about it all. All right.
Yeah.
Are we ready for our next
segment?
Sweet. Do you want to go first?
No, I just went.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Sorry. I was going to let you go first since I went first on the last one. Okay. This one is like the overarching concept of like, this is my whole mentality around Disney. And I feel like I actually started to embrace this like unintentionally when Molly and I had annual passes at Universal. And it's just the concept of like, let yourself get fully like hyped, like get excited throughout the entire thing. Like, everything is exciting. Like, we're about to, you know, we have to wake up early tomorrow. Oh my gosh, we're going to Disney World. You're in the car on the way to the airport. That's exciting. Like, everything you do is like one step closer, and then you're on Disney property, and that's exciting. And everything, even whenever you're on, you know, like random middle of the day and it's really hot and you're like 5 days into your trip and you're having to get the bus back from Animal Kingdom and you're sunburnt, whatever, just let yourself be like, remember, oh my gosh, I'm at Disney World. And most of the year I'm just like wanting to be here, and I'm here. It's amazing.
Yeah. Whatever inhibitions you have about, you know, reality and
playing it cool,
and not being, I'm not a Disney adult, or whatever you want to tell yourself when you are in your day-to-day life outside of Disney, fine, whatever. But once you're there, don't hold yourself back from the magic and the excitement. Don't you dare do that to yourself. That's not fair to you.
Well, and I think this one's like, this is Molly's just naturally, she said it on a previous episode, like she can let herself just lean into the drama, and she's just generally more outgoing and expressive and whatever. And I'm just not. And my normal is just chill. And I'm chill at Disney too. But like, you got to let your
Excited
mind.
chill.
What?
You're excited chill. You're soak it in chill. Like,
Yeah.
vibe it up. Soak it in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like enjoy the moment. And we kind of talked about that in the transportation episode where, you know, it can be just like, oh, I'm on a bus, or oh, I have to get from point A to point B, or oh, it's that time of day where, you know, we just have to like, we're done for the day, we're winding down, we just got showers, whatever. But no, you're in a Disney shower. You're at a Disney hotel, and they're just unique experiences to each thing that you get to do. I think it also helps like that we watch vlogs a lot. So you're almost like, oh my gosh, it's like you're at a place that a celebrity was at or something. It feels like these people that you watch from afar. All right, but that was mine. It's really just let yourself lean into it all the way. Don't resist. Just get on board and be psyched, hyped, stoked.
Okay, I'm gonna my next one ties right into that one, and this one's from Dad. So this is really just like a part B to yours, and then I have another one after it. But
okay,
Dad said, stop and enjoy the magic at every turn. Enjoy the little things. So he said, like, when you're walking around the park, or if you're in line, or like he said, even the things that are not like magical moments in your head, just open up your eyes, look around. There's so many beautiful little touches and like magic moments everywhere. There's kids meeting Cinderella. There's like a lot of joy around you and magic if you're looking for it.
I think he stole that from me. I'm pretty sure I've said that before on this podcast.
You probably have. He said he was inspired by the vibe of our podcast, and he said like the next time he goes, he's really excited to really take it all in. And he said he's usually so focused on the logistics of it, which he doesn't plan the logistics. And I think that because he doesn't plan them and he's along for the ride, I don't think that's his natural position at all, to be along for the ride and not in charge of logistics.
The one kind of, well, Mom and Dad were both the ones planning and stuff, but he is a natural, like he wants to be the one, he wants to be researching, and he is used to planning, you know, like mission trips and stuff like that, where he's the logistics guy. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he's probably constantly like planning for, like thinking through stuff, but like we've already got it solved. So he can just take.
I think that's what he's realizing more and more as we've gone with him a couple times now, that he doesn't need to worry about it. He can ask about it. We'll give him the whole plan of what we're doing, but it's gonna be okay either way. Even if your plan crumbles and falls, it's okay. Like, you're still at Disney. But anytime one door closes, another door is going to open with maybe an opportunity better than what you thought you were going to get for Plan A. Everything's magical at Disney. Like, They have magical trash cans, literally.
Exactly. No, literally they have ornaments of their trash cans because their trash cans are iconic. I like it. Okay. What's yours?
That goes directly into my other one. And it might seem counterintuitive to what we just said or to contradict, but it's not. Try not to put too much pressure on any of it. Don't put too much pressure on any one person, on any trip, on any specific day, on a meal. You just kind of have to roll with the punches while you're there. So take in the magic, enjoy it all. Keep the perspective of like, we're here and that's awesome. We're at Disney World. But don't beat yourself up about things that go wrong. You know, you miss a reservation, your kid throws a temper tantrum, your favorite ride breaks down. Things happen, but that's not going to be what you remember of your trip unless you let it ruin your trip. On top of that, if your kid's throwing a temper tantrum and you think everyone thinks you're the worst parent in the world, no one's paying any attention to you. Like, no one's judging the toddler tantrum. No one's judging, you know, any other group. Everyone is concerned with what they're doing, and it's Disney. Emotions run high. Kids get upset. Adults get upset. Fights happen. Whatever. It's not magic 24/7, but especially when things go wrong, try to just rebound from it and roll with the punches. And, you know, maybe we took a beat down on this section of the park, but let's go over here and see what we can do to rise back up.
I like it. Rise with the resistance. Rise of the resistance. Wow.
Slay.
Okay.
So that was my kind of 2.
I like that. I'm gonna I wonder if we can keep doing this where my next one is related to your last one and your last one was related to mine.
We do have a good theme going.
Yes, we do. So this one is similar to Molly's in that it's like, don't put too much pressure on the trip. And it's when you start thinking about the cost of the trip, especially if you're in a scenario where you're like, you feel like you're not getting to maximize the day, whether the lines are really long or it's just the weather's not what you wanted or anything like that. Or if people are not being, if you're a party, if you're a group of people, like if people are grumpy or whatever, like try not to think about the cost of the trip. You already paid for it. You already committed to this trip. It's just going to make you feel more negative. Try to maximize your enjoyment of the trip rather than making sure you're doing all of the perfect experiences. So think of every curveball as an opportunity to be like, I think every time we've had a magical moment, it's because something negative was happening. Or like when you guys got to cut to the front of the line at Flight of Passage, it's because the line was crazy long that the guy like let you cut or something, right? Like, I mean, generally,
kind of. So what happened is Flight of Passage was new at the time, and we had a few of the old fast passes. It was the old system, and I can't remember exactly what the deal was, but we had 2 really good fast passes each. Me, Mom, and Dad did, and we went to a cast member and we asked if we could change our fast passes to less good ones, really, so that we would have time to wait in line the 4 hours we would need to wait for Flight of Passage. It was literally 4 hours. And he was like, you're going to give up Dino and Expedition Everest fast passes just so you have enough time in your day to stand in line for Flight of Passage? And we said, yeah. He's like, no, you're not. Come with me. And he gave us extra fast passes, which was amazing.
But like that could have been like, oh my gosh, 4 hours were like, you could have been just like, this trip is the worst. This is not going as planned. But my point, I guess, was like, I don't know.
We were making the most out of it. Yeah. We were just like, this is what we need to do. We were already planning on like, okay, it's going to be a long time in line, but we're going to go to the restroom first. We're going to get some snacks. We're going to get some drinks so that we can have, a snack and a drink in line. And we're going to maybe play some games with each other while we're waiting. Like we were already making the most out of it. And I think that the cast members saw that we were nice people and we weren't being annoying about it. We were just...
Yeah, you weren't complaining about a 4-hour wait. You were just asking to help troubleshoot. But I guess the general idea of this is like, I don't know, think about like, if you're reflecting back on this trip 5-10 years from now, what will you be like happy about your previous self or like proud of yourself for how you handled the situation and made the most of whatever was going on? So if it's like rainy season and there's like a full-on monsoon going on, did you get grumpy and hide away in the store for hours, or did you like sprint from place to place and go like be drenched, but you were getting to go on all these rides because everyone else was huddled up for hours? How are you gonna make the most of your trip and make it fun and memorable?
A trip is like 10% what happens to you and 90% your attitude and what you make of it.
Yes. We'll have to preach this to ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I think
we're getting good at it.
We've learned from experience. We've learned that life's what you make it. So let's make it rock.
Slay. Wait, what's her name? I mean,
Hannah Montana?
No.
Hannah.
Oh, maybe it is. You're right. I was thinking that was from Camp Rock, but no, you're right. It's Hannah Montana. Life's what you make it. So let's make it rock. Are you sure that's not Camp Rock?
Yes, positive.
Okay. I think I'm like mixing 2 songs together. Anyway, okay, that's mine. Do you have one?
You're mixing up the we rock, we rock, we rock.
We rock.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. Okay. What's your next one?
I don't think that I have one that fits perfectly into that, unfortunately.
That's okay.
I have one that is stay hydrated, caffeinated, and electrolyte.
Wow.
So
That was electrolyte.
I like to say that I'm electrolyte. So I really like these little tablets. They like are kind of like an alka. What are those called? Alka-Seltzer. They're like an Alka-Seltzer tablet that you put in water, but they're called Noon, spelled Nuun. And you can buy some that have caffeine in them as well. So they are electrolytes and caffeine. And those two things together really help me to stay feeling good. If I get dehydrated, my stomach starts to kind of hurt. And if I don't have enough caffeine, A, I get tired, and B, I can get a headache, especially when I've been outside all day. Like allergies and stuff give me headaches sometimes from being outside, and I get lack of caffeine headaches as a coffee addict. So together, those, if I don't have enough caffeine and I'm outside, the headache could ruin my day. Just having those Noon tablets, which take almost no room in my backpack, having those with me, it's a reminder to keep drinking water instead of coffee. And that's good. It makes my stomach feel better. And it keeps me feeling good throughout the day. You also need to eat food and stuff along with it, but that's in general, I think staying hydrated is the hardest thing. Your body will tell you to eat. Sometimes my body doesn't tell me to drink as much water as I need when I'm out in the hot Florida sun. Also,
Nice.
Bring your own water bottle. They're going to charge you so much. And yeah, Florida water can taste really icky, but nothing tastes ickier than a $5 water bottle that you buy. That's Dasani. No way. Not me.
Couldn't be me. Unless you're like truly, well, I don't know. They have free water cups everywhere. So you don't have to buy that regardless. But yeah, it's way easier and way like more water. The cups they give you for the free water are pretty small. So definitely, I like that. Bring your own water, bring your own, whatever you like to do to stay hydrated. I like liquid IV better than the Noon tablets, and I'm not addicted to caffeine, so I don't always like want caffeine. So I just prefer liquid IV, but I'm kind of the same. Like too much like sun in my eyes and just like, yeah, being outside all day with, it must be a combination of things. I tend to get headaches too, but.
And on that same note, you can bring in your own snacks too. You can bring in your own water bottle, like full. You can bring in Gatorade. You can bring in like not alcohol, but you can bring in basically any snack or drink that you want that's not alcohol. And that's going to be really helpful to save money, especially if you have like little kids. If you have little kids that want to eat goldfish and like fruit snacks, why pay Disney prices for goldfish and fruit snacks? You can save money just by bringing that in yourself.
I like it. You want to hear my next one?
Yes.
It's very similar to your last one. We're on a theme here. We haven't had many that are like the exact same. So far. Okay, this one, I titled it Prioritize Your Body. And some of the things that you just said were kind of under that umbrella. Yes, prioritize your body.
Take care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit.
Exactly. That's like, you're like Crush's wife. That voice you just did.
Shelly.
Yeah. Is that really her name?
I've seen, like the Turtle Talk with Crush. Someone asked him if he has a wife, and he was like, "Are you flirting with me?" Yeah, I actually do. He said, I have a wife. He didn't call her his wife, but he was like, I have a lady. Her name's Shelly. We've been together 150 years, but love her so much. It still feels like the first 75. She's my little turtle dove.
Oh my gosh. That's so special.
Sorry.
Okay.
I distracted.
No, I asked. Okay, so prioritize your body. I said wear comfy shoes. So prioritize your comfiest shoes and bring a couple pairs so you're not wearing the same pair every day, because even the most comfortable shoes can start to hurt when you wear them 4 days in a row. And then wear a hat. Like if you're like me and you like the sun gets in your eyes and it just gives you headaches and things. Drink more water than you think. You just talked about that. Wear more sunscreen than you think. You will burn. And just know your body. Like Molly said, she knows that like she can get headaches because she is addicted to caffeine. So she knows that she's going to need caffeine. Or like know that you could drink a coffee in the morning, but you're going to feel better if you just stick with that water, her caffeinated water or whatever. And no, for me, it's like, you want to try that ice cream, but you probably shouldn't. You're going to regret it later. They're just a lot, like, you just have to be more reined in. And I think you can get away with some of those things in normal life. Kind of like being like, oh, it's no big deal that I didn't wear a hat today. Or it's no big deal that I don't know, whatever. But at Disney, it's just make the call that's going to make your body feel the best, because you're putting yourself through a lot already by doing 20,000 plus steps and doing all of these rides that your body's not used to.
It's not a relaxing vacation for the most part. You can make it relaxing, but it's not the way we do it.
I know, we've tried. Maybe someday.
I think we'll be better on our cruise. On our cruise, I think we'll be better.
Right.
We'll see.
Maybe. I mean, you can only do so much in a little boat, right? In a ship, a massive ship.
Yeah.
We're going to have FOMO. We're going to, I don't know. I have a feeling I'm going to be like, we have 30 minutes to spare. All right, let's go walk to this floor that we haven't been on and see what's over here.
Yeah.
Or deck.
We'll see. We might just have to go back multiple times in order to relax.
Oh, darn. We'll have to do it again.
Oh, no.
Oh, shucks. All right. What's your next one?
So I'm going to tell you these. The rest of mine are all from mom and dad. So I want you to guess who gave which piece of advice.
Oh, this will be easy.
Bring baby wipes. You'll need them for all kinds of stuff. Babies, messes, stains, sticky stuff, cleaning your hands.
That's
Who gave that
absolutely
one?
Dad. And he's going to say the kind with Winnie the Pooh on them. The natural, like, Huggies or something like that.
He's very particular about his baby wipes brand. And he's the baby.
That's
he
honestly,
is the baby
I mean, it's good advice. I've never brought baby wipes and I've never really wanted or needed them, but I can see how they would be handy. I mean, definitely if you're bringing kids, but
I think he also is a man that gets pretty sweaty.
True.
And I think that in the bathroom, sometimes he'll use them to like wipe off his face and like do a little cleanup and freshening up in the bathroom. And also like when we've gone with little kids, with Ben and Anna, I'm sure those came in handy.
Yeah.
Not that Ben and Anna would ever spill anything, but sometimes they might.
Never.
Or get some ice cream on their face. They are perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. I have something to add to that though. I also think along those lines of like freshening up, I do like to bring like a little like a little, like just a little tiny perfume, like, you know, the sample sizes. I have some of those from like Discovery kits or whatever, of different perfumes, and they're pretty affordable. And you just it takes up no space. I like to travel very light. I also put little tiny travel sized deodorants in like my fanny pack or my belt bag. So little things like that do make you feel a lot better, just to be like, okay, I know I don't stink. I'm in close proximity to all these people, but at least I put on fresh deodorant. I have some perfume on, and, you know, just whatever you need to feel a little bit refreshed throughout the day does tend to help.
Yeah, that's a good one. You say perfume and deodorant. Dad says baby wipes. Potato. It's all doing the same thing.
Well, and I mean, yeah, sometimes I even just grab like paper towels and wet them down, and then you just like wipe off your arms and legs so you're not like sticky with sweat. You're just like, you're not clean, but you feel a little better.
You feel a little refreshed. Even if you're not fresh, you are refreshed.
Yeah.
Okay, now guess who this one came from. Look at the people you are going with and decide how to pace yourselves. Take breaks as needed. Sleep in as needed. Go to bed early as needed. Take a break throughout the day. Whatever you need to do to best suit your group.
I mean, I think that's probably Mom, considering Dad gave the last piece, but I could see both of them saying that.
That one was Dad, actually.
Okay.
And I think part of it was we went on a trip to Disneyland with him, and he wanted to sleep in and he wanted to take more breaks. And we looked at the group and we did pace out based on that, but we also didn't let it stop the rest of us. So if you're comfortable splitting up as a group and one person really wants to go back and rest, or one person really doesn't want to stay up till fireworks, as long as your group's okay with splitting up, and some people want to, you know, go from rope drop to fireworks and not take any breaks, that's okay. To each his own. Just because it's a family trip doesn't mean you need to spend every single second of it together. For some trips, it's better not to.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. I mean, we've talked about that as a group together, so really any of us could have said that. But yeah, I agree. I have something similar. I said if you're a morning person at all, I recommend rope dropping, but if you're not, don't force it. You're still you on a trip. You don't have to totally change yourself just to go along with everyone's advice of like, oh, you have to rope drop or whatever. But I love a good rope drop.
I think there's something to be said about being a good trooper in your group. So maybe you're a person who really likes to wake up late, but you're with a lot of people who they're going to have a hard time splitting up. Like maybe you're on a girls trip with your college friends or your...
Yeah, don't be the party pooper.
Yeah, don't be Eeyore. Like, if everyone wants to stick together and you're going to kill the vibe by being like, I don't want to stay till fireworks, just try to roll with it, even if it's not your thing, even if you're not a morning person or whatever it is. If you're not a big Disney fan, you're probably not listening to this in the first place, so.
Yeah, I think that's good advice for any trip. Like, just social awareness. Like, are you going to ruin the vibe for other people if you don't get with the program? Maybe. If so, then get with the program. If not, and it's like you can easily do a little splitsies situation and some of you stay late and some don't.
Okay, next piece of advice.
Yeah, I mean, I have more. So, but we can do mom and dad's next too. How?
Okay, this is another one from mom and dad. Don't get caught up in trying to do it all. Just enjoy what you can do. Like, you can look around and see things to do everywhere. And if you get caught up in like wanting to make the entire thing into a checklist that you have to do everything at Disney World before you go home, you're not going to enjoy it. So just enjoy what you're doing. You can always come back.
Yeah, I actually like to think about it, especially since we know we are going to go back. I like to think about it as like you're leaving something to be new to you later. Because if we explored everything, which is like basically impossible, but if we explored everything, then we would have nothing new to uncover and to experience until they like put in a new ride or open a new park or a new restaurant. So
yeah,
to me, it's
I
like
agree.
I'm leaving some stones unturned so that I can hang out with those later.
It's one of the same reasons we're going on the oldest Disney ship for our first cruise. It's because all of them are new to us. So why don't we just start with something that's a little older, a little cheaper, maybe not as extravagant, and then we're leaving the newer things to be explored later.
Exactly.
Kind of crescendoing into it.
Yes. And that made me think, I'm like, well, when is the Magic going to retire? Like, how does that work? You know, like, do they
They've never retired a cruise ship.
It's never happened?
They haven't yet. Well, no, the Magic was their first cruise ship. They have a very small fleet compared to most cruise lines. So that what we might be finding out in the coming years what they do to retire a ship, or if they ever do. I'm sure they will eventually.
Well, I mean, but you could just refurbish and spruce it up over and over and over again as long as it's like in good working condition. So maybe we're going to be, you know, on it, and then they're going to announce it's going to go out of service and be refurbished for like a year, and then it'll never be the same again. So we'll get to experience it in its original form. Wow.
Maybe. I'm just thinking at some point, I'm guessing that cruise ships, like any piece of equipment, get more expensive to maintain.
Yeah. Like you have to retire
Who knows?
aircraft events. Yeah. I'm sure it will. I'm just guessing the lifespan is a lot longer considering they're insanely expensive. But
our trip's kind of exciting too, because we're going to be one of the first, within the first few months of going to the new Lighthouse Point area.
Yeah.
Like their new, it's not their new island, but their new like island location. So we're mixing like the old of being on the oldest cruise ship they have with the new of going to a location, a Disney related location that very few people will have ever been to before. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting because I feel like we never see things that like we haven't seen before on a vlog or something. Like we're always experiencing something like years later or at least months later. But we may be the first ones out of all of our kind of the people that we follow to experience it.
Yeah.
Which could be cool.
I'll watch any content that comes out from like Disney about Lighthouse Point, but I'm going to try really hard to not watch any vlogs before I go there, because it's going to be one of the few things that is like relatively undiscovered and that I haven't seen on YouTube before going.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm doing the Tortured Poets department. Part of the Taylor Swift, the Eras tour. I'm going to try not to watch things if I get glimpses of things. Anyway, that's not relevant. Okay. Do you want to hear my next one?
I got so jealous when I saw a TikTok about how she's definitely adding it to the set list because of all these Easter eggs and stuff. And I was like, how expensive would it be to get a ticket? How expensive would it be to go on this UK trip after all? And then I looked at it very briefly and I was like, very expensive.
Yeah, you can watch you can watch like TikTok live stuff and see it that way.
I bet they're going to record at least the Tortured Poets department part of her concert and then like add it as like an extended edition.
Yeah, to like the Disney Plus something. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to hear one of mine? My other ones?
Yes.
I have a few others, but okay, I have two more that I think I want to share. The first one of my last two is take lots of candid videos and photos as you go throughout your trip, purely to remember the trip. And I feel like this is obvious to most people, and I think our like parents and stuff like took film photos and stuff whatever growing up, and we had digital cameras and whatever, and we were taking pictures for the memories. But now that we all have our phones, I almost feel like I take pictures less than I did whenever I had an actual camera, like in high school and stuff. And it's easy to forget these trips. They kind of can start to blur together, or I don't know, it's just a lot easier to remember and to revisit the memories and remember specific things that happened when you have pictures to kind of jog your memory. And so just take lots of videos and photos
For the memories.
for the memes.
That seem so normal now, but will be precious to you soon.
Wow. Okay, gag. I mean, don't take so many that it's like cluttering up your phone, but and the thing about candid is like you don't need to like stop your whole group and be like, okay, we're gonna pose here and pose here. But it's just like if everyone's sitting and, you know, acting silly, like get a little clip of it or whatever, just for funsies.
Capture the moment. Why not? If it's not a good picture, you can delete it immediately.
Yeah.
Or if you don't like it, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then my other one. Well, do you have any more of mom and dad's?
I don't.
I have one last one that I really like. So my last one is each day have everyone tell you something that they really want to do that day. Depending on how big your party is, like this may or may not be feasible, but generally our group is anywhere from 2 to like 9 people. Like we're rarely over 10 people. So it's usually pretty doable. Everyone has like a must do. Like I really want to try this snack, or I really want to do this ride, or I really want to, you know, watch the fireworks or whatever. It's usually pretty doable to hit everyone's like one thing. And then you feel like everyone got prioritized.
As long as everyone's thing is like
feasible,
relatively feasible and a crowd pleaser, or like if someone wants to get a turkey leg and no one else wants a turkey leg, that's so easy. You know, just go get it. It gets a little harder when maybe people's things are like, I definitely want to ride Splash Mountain. Oh, that's a bad example because it's going to be gone. Anyway.
You'll be sitting there for months.
Yeah, there are some things that don't drive together as well, and your group might have to split up to achieve all of them, depending on the size. But we haven't really had that issue very often. And often, multiple people's thing that they want to do will be similar, or the same.
Yeah, but I like it too because it can be easy, especially like in our like big family group, for me to be like just maximizing the trip how I would normally maximize the trip with like assuming these are the rides people want to go on because they're the big ones, or assuming people will be interested in this restaurant over this one. And sometimes you have to do some educating to be like, these are the rides that I think you would like. Are there any of those that sound really good that you really want to do? You know, sometimes it's just, you got to chat with people. But I have really liked it whenever we've done like, and you feel accomplished too whenever you do that. You say, well, you know, we didn't do every single ride, but we did those 3 rides that we really wanted to do. And then you guys got those snacks that you really wanted to try and whatever. So it just feels good at the end of the day.
My biggest regret from our last trip to Disney World is that I didn't get a Mickey bar or a pina colada. Those are the two things that I wanted because I
And they
kept
were so
waiting.
achievable is the hard.
They were so achievable. But every time that there was a good time to do it, I was like, oh, I'm not going to get a Mickey bar. It's 10 a.m. Get a Mickey bar at 10 a.m. Who's stopping you? It's vacation. Disney.
Yeah.
Get the pina colada. Even if you're not at the poolside, you're at the water park. Why was I like being picky about that? What was my problem?
I would have totally been like, you're being dumb if I'd known that that was actually your thought process when you got that strawberry thing. But that's okay.
I was like, oh, I'll go to the pool later. And I was picturing myself drinking the pina colada at the pool. I never went to the pool afterwards. I went straight to the airport when I thought I was going to chill at the pool later.
Yes. Alrighty. I think that's it. Anything else?
No, I have nothing else. I really enjoy going through this because it's that like boost of Disney serotonin or whatever it is. Serotonin and mollytonin.
Wow. I was just thinking that. I was like, that's me. Serotonin.
It scratches the Disney itch in my brain a little bit. Not enough to make me not want to go on another trip, but enough to get me through to our next trip.
Yeah. I mean, I did see a TikTok today of a girl who, I don't remember her handle, but the concept is she does like day trips. She lives in Washington, D.C., and she did a day trip to Disney World. And I was like, I want to do a day trip to Disney World. Just fly in the morning, fly out in the evening like we used to do with our Universal annual pass. And I was like, I might have to do that this summer. Then I was like, no,
that
that's
would be
actually
so expensive.
It would be really expensive for how long I'd get to be there. So it wouldn't be the smartest thing, but I was like, I kind of want to do something like that. But we'll see.
Well, if you do, it would be hard for me to resist. But the hard thing is I'm not as close of a trip to Disney as you are.
Yeah.
I'm further logistically for planes and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. If you came, it would limit me too, because I'd have to. Well, I wouldn't have to. You could just meet up with me wherever I'm at. But you couldn't do a day trip.
If I came, it would limit you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not invited.
No, you wouldn't be able to you physically would not be able to do a day trip. You would be able to be there for like an hour or 2 hours.
Well, I would be able to do a day trip if I started from Dallas.
Yeah, so you'd have to get here on a Friday night and then
it'd be more logistics for you, but it wouldn't limit
Sunday.
Your trip.
Well,
it would
that's
just
true.
add some steps. But I also don't know if I'd be willing to do a day trip because we're not annual pass holders. So we'd be paying for a full day for getting not rope drop and probably not fireworks.
Yeah. That is the really, really sad part is you wouldn't be there in the evening. That was always just like soul crushing. Like the sun is setting and you can feel the energy of the park rising as people are getting excited when we would always leave Universal, and we never saw the castle like lit up at night ever. Till the very end. We stayed the night one time. But anyway.
Very painful.
It was painful. All right. I think we're going to call it.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you haven't listened to our previous episodes, give them a chance. We're trying to get better at this whole podcasting thing. Share with your friends who you think might be interested. We would love to have some, build our community a little bigger. We wouldn't mind that. I don't think we would like a little more friends. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for today. So we will see you later, Castle Dwellers.
Bye.
Bye.